This is a question and answer session, so we want you lot to be vocal, yeah? It's not just a panel, it's you lot as well. All right, so we're gonna start with our first panelist, who's gonna introduce himself. Well, you know him already.
Okay, yeah, you know me already, so greetings, give thanks.
Hi, I'm Natalie Karubo. I'm an ordained minister, a mother of 6, and I work with people to help them know what their rights are. 11 years experience working in education, providing consultation and mentoring to children and families that have social, emotional, behavioural difficulties. And that's me.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Mikel Ameen. I'm a music entertainer, social entrepreneur, and a world changer. I run a youth community organisation called Get Familiar. It's all about socially developing youths, artistically developing them, and also showing them how they can make the right communications in different environments. I'm also one of the founding members of Unihood, which is a subsidiary of the Nation of Islam. And with that, we look to change the minds of youth throughout London. So I'm all about social change. Thank you.
Greetings, family. Heard from me earlier on. My name is Brother Douglas Williams. Organisation called Find Your Voice. Host a talk show on SLR radio station. And I'm a community activist, so I'm here to, move forward.
My name is Twighlight Bey. I'm one of the original organizers of the ceasefire agreement between the Bloods and Crips in Los Angeles in 1992. But I've also been involved in the social sciences and human development for about 40,000 hours of my little bit of life on this planet. So I'm somewhat of a specialist in some people's eyes, but today I'm just your brother.
Yeah. And my name is Minka, and I primarily organize in the Pan African Society Community Forum today. I have a history that goes back to the early or the late 70s, which is involved campaigning against the scrap sus that you've heard mentioned earlier on before. The only quick point I would say about that is that the scrap sus was scrapping the sus law wasn't about any individual, it was about us. And we need to understand that in terms of our power. I'm an organizer from the 1981 uprisings, going through the 85 uprising, and it's good to come back to the farm, because we were actively involved in organizing against the vicious killing of Cynthia Jarrett right here. And I'm proud to be back against my brothers and sisters who showed the British state what we can do when we organize. I'm also involved in running up to today, campaigning against the various different abuses against our young people, and particularly in regards to stop and search, in regards to DNA, and one of the organizations I'm primarily, or secondly, I won't say primary, the first organization is what I mentioned. The next important organization involved is a campaign called the United Friends and Families Campaign, which is a campaign primarily organized around supporting families of those who have been killed in custody. I just want to say I'm pleased to be here. I want to thank the organizers for calling this meeting here today, because I believe it's really essential that we come together as a community, because based upon what one of my greatest teachers taught me, the Right Honorable Marcus Garvey, is that we need to organize or we will certainly perish.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. My name is Ayesha Muhammad. I'm a student of the Most Honourable Minister Lez Henry. I'm also a founding member of Unihood and a primary school teacher at our school, New Mind School. Greetings.
Okay, so brothers and sisters, if you could just put your hands up if you have a question that you would like to ask, and utilize the panel, because we got some great minds together, and it's not often that we convene on a level like this. So whatever questions you have, put your hand up, I'll recognize you, and then I'll bring the mic to you, and you can ask your questions. Please, no statements. Yeah, this is a questions and answer period, so we don't want any statements. So whoever wants to start, please raise your hands and we'll get busy.
Good afternoon, my name is Brother Mark. the question I want to ask, because we're all here as solution-orientated people, what are the guiding principles for us to work more effectively with one another in order to enhance, enable the cause and the purpose of trying to have an impact on our youth?
So the question was, what are the guiding principles, did you say? I think to really have an impact on our youth, I think the best way is actually to change the way we connect with them in the first place. I think I was speaking earlier today at the mosque, and I was talking about the power of communication and how we wouldn't be able to grow or develop without communication. Understand? And in our communities, between adults and between youth, there is no communication at all. And so without the right communication, you become misled, misguided, ignorant, assuming, and fearful. And so I feel like with what's been happening with the youth in terms of going through 2 generations of being in front of the TV and in front of the media, internet, news, radio, and with no proper culture behind them because of, bad housing, lack of parenting in the house and lack of community, we now have a youth who've taken on a culture that has been given to them by the media and by the people who don't have our best interests at heart. So what I'm looking at is, in terms of reconnecting with the youth and actually grabbing their attention, is for one, us youth out here who are socially aware and who are consciously minded to actually go forward and passionately connect with each other. You understand? Because by doing that, you'll find out that there's more people who want what you want than what they're getting already. You understand? And even if they're living a certain life, after hearing your righteous words, they'll move more towards what you're doing. Do you understand? So it's all about the power of the mass. You understand? So if people understand that there's more like-minded people out there like them, then they're going to gravitate towards that. People keep talking about the culture, they don't have any culture, but it's your fault that they don't have any culture anymore. You understand? It's your fault. You understand? And when I say it's your fault, I don't mean you specifically. You understand? I'm talking about our fault. You understand? As parents, as community leaders, as people who are, around in the environment, because we've given our youths a new environment. You understand? We haven't brought them up in the same environment that our parents were accustomed to, that made them have such a great love for each other. So in changing the mind of the youth, I feel like it's reconnecting with them on that love and respectful level. You understand?
Thank you, Brother Mikel.
That's my point.
Well, you asked about guiding principles, and I think that when we talk about this, I think we have to remember that our youth are a reflection of us. So it's not about the youth; it's about us as a community. And as a community, if we no longer engage with one another, and we've lost that principle, then you can see how others can come in and rob you. As a community, if we no longer educate one another, then you can see how people start to lose the understanding of what binds us together and makes us who we are. As a community, if we no longer empower one another, where we get caught up in government football, political footballs, getting kicked around about who getting funded and sabotaging and all the stuff we do to each other, those principles have been lost. And as a result, we see the same thing happening with our children on the street. So when you talk about guiding principles, I'm saying engagement, education, and empowerment. And it has to start on the community level. It has to start with the adults. It has to start with the businesses. And then as we start to create a future for our children, they can then believe in us again and reconnect with us and go forward with a new strategy for how they're going to live their lives.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, in regards to the guiding principles for our youth, I think it's important that we actually struggle to define the concept of youth. Because one of the weapons that the enemy is using against us at this moment in time is to divide the black family. And so when we come together, we got to reassert and reestablish the principle that the youth is a part of our family, the youth is a part of our community, and the youth is a part of our nation. And when we understand that, when we look at what's going on with our youth at this moment in time, we must have to recognize that a youth cannot resolve these problems. And so, for example, if you look at the issue of education, or if you look at the issue of policing, you see that our youth is getting an attack from the state. Or if you look at the issue of what people call so-called black on black violence, it's difficult to engage our young people if we don't tackle the problems which is confronting them. And so it seems to me, in terms of a community, we've got to say to our young people is that as a family, we're here to support and protect you. So we have to develop mechanism within our organization that's going to protect them against police attack. We're going to have to protect them. We have to put a force on the ground, it seems to me. A force on the ground that's not only that's going to protect them from the attack from the police, but also a force of peace to go out into the community amongst their own peers to show them that the war is not amongst each other, but which is against the system. So to me, if we can put those principles out to our youth, bringing them in an organization in which they know that their voice will be respected and supported, it seems to me that's the only way forward in terms of developing and influencing our young people.